They mocked him on TikTok, but then found his name in the history books. It started with a laugh, a shaky phone video uploaded by a teenager named Kyle from Centerville, Ohio. The camera zoomed in on an old man standing alone in front of a rusting flagpole near a quiet park, saluting the empty morning air. The video was captioned, "Bro thinks he's still in Vietnam," followed by crying, laughing emojis. Within hours, it racked up hundreds of thousands of views. Comments poured in, mocking everything from his posture to the vintage military jacket he wore. To many, he was just another out-of-touch old man clinging to a long-past era. The man in the video was Joseph Everett, 83 years old, a widower. He lived alone in a modest brick house on the edge of town. Every morning, rain or shine, he walked a mile to that same flagpole at 6 a.m., stood at attention, and saluted as he played the national anthem from a small speaker. No one had ever really asked him why. People assumed he was just eccentric, maybe a little senile. But someone noticed something the commenters hadn't. A middle-aged history teacher from Minnesota named Carla Jensen paused the video around the 30-second mark. Something about the patches on his jacket caught her attention. She zoomed in and immediately recognized the symbol. The insignia of MACVSG, a covert special operations unit active during the Vietnam War. Curious, she did what few others bothered to do. She Googled his name. It wasn't hard to find. Joseph Everett wasn't a common name, and within minutes, she stumbled across a declassified Department of Defense document. Her eyes widened. Joseph Everett wasn't just some random veteran. He had been a commander in one of the most dangerous and secretive units in U.S. military history. His missions were the kind that never made it into textbooks. Cross-border reconnaissance in Laos and Cambodia, POW rescues, intelligence gathering behind enemy lines. The kind of operations that had no backup, no recognition, and no margin for error. Jensen posted a reply video, calmly listing Joseph's credentials. Silver Star, 2 Bronze Stars with Valor, Purple Heart, and a Presidential Unit citation. She included links to archived military records and news clippings that confirmed everything. She ended the video with a simple message. This man isn't playing soldier. He is a soldier, one of the best we've ever had. The internet did what it does best. It turned on a dime. Within 24 hours, the mocking tone vanished. Kyle, the teen who had posted the original video, made a tearful apology. He admitted he had no idea who Everett was, and said he planned to visit him in person. Commenters, now informed, flooded the original post with praise and respect. Hashtag Joseph Everett began trending on Twitter. National news picked up the story by the end of the week. But Joseph didn't care about the attention. When local reporters showed up at his door, he politely declined interviews. When a local veterans group offered to replace the flagpole, he simply said, "It works just fine." Eventually, Kyle did visit. He expected anger or at least a lecture. Instead, Joseph invited him inside, offered him a Coke, and showed him a photo album. Inside were black and white photos of young men in jungle fatigues, grainy aerial maps, and a worn letter from a rescued POW that simply said, "Because of you, I saw my daughter graduate." "I don't need an apology," Joseph said, looking Kyle in the eye. "I just need you to understand." Kyle nodded, and in that quiet living room, something changed. He started volunteering at the local VA hospital. He interviewed Joseph and other veterans for a school project that later won a national award. More importantly, he learned to listen before laughing. A few months later, the town of Centerville held a ceremony, not because Joseph asked for it. He didn't even want it, but because people felt they owed him something. A bronze plaque was mounted next to the flagpole. It read, "In honor of Colonel Joseph Everett, Operative 1966, 1972 inch for valor unspoken and sacrifice unseen." That morning, as the anthem played and dozens stood in silence, Joseph saluted just as he always had. No different than the day before. No different than the day after. He wasn't there for recognition. He was there for the men who never made it home. And now, thanks to a teenager's mistake and a nation's correction, their stories, and his, would never be forgotten again.